Hi all. I am going to help you introduce me and the number of things that I actually have been doing with this Fire NXT. It's been a year that I've been working with this Fire NXT and working as a solution lead about multiple programs. How exactly are we helping our clients to understand what Workspace One has to offer? What exactly is the solution and how exactly we protect the devices, or I would say manage them in such a way that it would actually help you realize the effectiveness and efficiency of the devices that you've been using in your organization. So we're going to give you a brief of and we'll exaggerate how exactly will it function. So a little about multiple, I would say, MDM solutions that are available in the market. What exactly and how can we differ it with unified endpoint management? This product, or I would say VMware, actually segregates the product in different categories. When we say categories, there are multiple diversities. There's unified endpoint management, there's workspace on Horizon, there also is workspace for access, for authentication, and we also can look into this intelligence portal that actually allows the automation for most of the tasks that we'll be performing. We actually can automate, we can grab reports, we can do things inside. So what we're gonna start with is unified endpoint management, that how exactly it functions, and a few of the competitors are here in front of you that you could see. Now, understanding the architecture of how exactly this unified endpoint management is being set up, we actually have set it up the device services server, other than that, the console server and the database. How exactly the communication happens between the database and the console, and I would say the this device services server. So let's suppose if you're gonna push an application from Workspace on UEM console and you want it to be on the device. Taking an example, let's consider the device will be Android. While pushing it, there would be multiple services that will be a part. Let's say FCM, firewall-based cloud management, that would also be a part of it. So when we push it, the service that's working in the background that allows this to reach the DS, once the device actually finds, okay, there's something inside, so DS notifies the device there's something inside it, and console actually updates the database already, whatever is being pushed, and device services would be able to confirm from database if there's something inside for that particular device with a device ID that's actually mentioned after the device gets enrolled. So they'll be able to notify that yes, this actually is for the device ID, this and this, and we'll be able to push it on that specific device, and that's how the app would actually be deployed on the device, or I would say reach the device, where we would be able to see that yes, this is what we actually pushed from the console. So managing the device in different ways, it actually covers multiple platforms, I would say, not just Android, iOS, Windows. There are multiple ways to enroll Windows devices. I would say more than 8 different ways to enroll them. AirWatch agent that functions in between. A user who actually has the device can enroll it himself, or the organization who would like to enroll it can also do that, so that the user intervention would be nil, I would say. And other than that, we also can it support multiple platforms. When I say, you also can make use of your Mac OS TV and other devices that you've been using in your day-to-day life. Or I would say, if there are meetings that you schedule on iPads and you want to gift it to your employees, you just can set it up with the help of Apple Business Manager. Or I would say, if it's not Apple Business Manager, it would be any different platform that you would like to use on iPad. The iPad can actually be enrolled manually as well. You can send it over, you can lock the enrollment, so the users will not be able to unenroll them in any state. It doesn't matter what exactly would be the case. The device would actually report to the console that what exactly has happened to it. How long will it be able to sync with the console until it's enrolled? If you lock the enrollment, the users will no longer be allowed to unenroll the device or remove it from the unified endpoint management console. Once the user actually sees that yes, my device is being managed, he'll already be aware that yes, things that I'm doing will be monitored. And And yes, we can have more control over the devices when we actually enroll it in corporate ways than enrolling it in a manual way that the user can also do. So the devices, just when we enroll it, just when we manage it, there are multiple policies, there are multiple profiles that we can push down to the device to make use of it, not just to understand how exactly these profile functions, but also the sync of the device needs to be continuous so that it actually updates the console after every 4 hours. That's a manual sync that will gonna function. So if the device didn't sync, that means we'll not be able to grab the report. If the device is turned off from last, I would say, 4 hours, and the manual sync happened, the device is not in a state that it would actually report how exactly or what exactly is happening because it's already switched off. So we'll be able to notice the behavior just by the UEM console, and yeah, we just can take care of it. It also is kind of when we experience in terms of security, when we experience it, it helps us understand that how exactly an MDM or a UEM solution helps us regarding every activity that we are performing. The number of devices that are actually being managed, there are multiple organizations who would like to manage more than 1 lakh devices. I would say Walmart already has enrolled more than approximately, I would say, 1 lakh devices to UEM console already. Actually, it's more than 1 lakh, but it's just an idea of the devices that they must have enrolled there. So while they are using it in production, they must have it on their stores, and they would like it to be monitored by the administrator who would actually be available at the client end that yes, this is what's happening to the devices. If there's any issue, how exactly can we bill it, or what exactly is the day-to-day activity that they're performing with the help of that specific device, and how can we monitor it and how can we control it. So it actually allows us to find more information about the security of that specific device that's live or that's available with the organization and would be available with the stores of Walmart or any other ORG, I would say, would have their devices live or in production. They would actually like to experience how exactly will it function and what changes will we be able to experience when we push the profile or when we actually I would say we're gonna update that specific device just with the help of the UEM console. So there are multiple layers, I would say, when we actually set up those devices. As I said, it's divided in it's segregated in 4 different segments: access, horizon, UEM, intelligence. So a little about how exactly Horizon functions. It's about virtualization of app as well as the desktop. Let's suppose you would like to store a lot of data that you do not have an idea about that where will you store it. Sometimes you'll be able to access it, or sometimes you'll be able to control the whole path, or I would say the storage capacity of your device. Even if you lose the device of yours, you still have the data protected over the cloud just with Horizon Cloud. How exactly it functions, it's storing the data, storing the info, storing all that you've stored over the physical device of yours just by the ID and the information that has already been created, and you can access this whenever required. Doesn't matter what time would it be, you just can log into the Horizon Cloud and you can make use of it as a virtual desktop. Now, moving forward, it also has not just protection, not just security, but information about how exactly will it gonna function. So when we talk about unified endpoint management, it itself specifies that what exactly is it benefiting or how exactly is it helping the clients or customers to run, or I would say the day-to-day tasks that they're performing within their organization. How exactly will this UEM console or the UEM strategy benefit the specific customers about their daily or day-to-day activities that their users have been doing on their devices. So monitoring them closely, it helps us understand, let's suppose, a BitLocker policy that we could apply to the device, wherein we would be able to encrypt the data and the users will not be able to decrypt it. If required to be used on a different device, they cannot until the organization allows them to. And we also can push multiple profiles like Windows profile, device management profile, open profile, wherein the device would just be openly enrolled, would not be managed completely, but still would be able to monitor the activities that the user has been doing or have been doing on their devices. Moreover, it also is going to help us regarding other parts of it. The API, the application programming interface, how exactly will it function? Setting up the API, running it, deleting multiple devices within one command is actually one of the best API features, I would say, that helps us access more of the devices and will be able to understand that how exactly will it function. So yeah, this is a kind of plan that UEM follows and allows us to uh, work as an endpoint security. Now, a little about automation that I would say I would like to follow. The environments that VMware actually renders or provides can be on-prem, wherein you can set up all your device services server, your enrollment services server, your other console server, and the SQL database within your organization. If you have a big team with you, you actually want that to be in your environment, you want it all set up. You have VMware PSOs who can get in contact. Sometimes you set it up, sometimes you see how exactly is it working. If you have information, you can get in contact. So or the other way out is to have a SaaS environment, that software as a service environment, wherein a particular console number will be provided to the organization and they'll be able to access it, and they just can set up the organization the way they would like to. They can activate and they can enable the specific set of enrollments for the specific platforms, that is Windows, Android, iOS, Mac OS, or I would say a TV, Android TV, or a Mac OS TV. Whatever you actually want to allow the users to enroll, that can be enabled just with a click. The settings has multiple options of setting up the, I would say, the gateway services, the console, the content gateway. That's one of the biggest features, I would say. Unified access gateway that allows you to set up the content gateway features, wherein every content that's inside your organization will be stored under repositories, wherein users will be able to access it with the help of Workspace One content application that needs to be downloaded, and whatnot, I would say. There's also some of the applications that we would like to push, just like let's suppose we are trying to push a Windows app, a Windows package that we would like to download, and we would like to push it on the device. Once it reaches the device, we'll be able to see the functioning of how exactly it's being downloaded. We also can see the functioning of that application until it reached the device or it reaches the device. What exactly the commands that the device has already consumed would just be visible in the console, so that we can actually see if there's any command that's queued, how exactly can we let that unqueued, or I would say we can repush it so that the queued commands would go away and would actually allow that application to reach the device or the platform that we are actually accessing right now. And moreover, the experience related to how exactly we can reduce the cost, how exactly we can engage with multiple employees, organizations with more than, I would say, 1,000 or 10,000 employees would not just be able to manage their devices without any MDM solutions. They do need something that actually can manage it, wherein it would actually be monitored extensively. We would be able to monitor it time to time. I would say with every second, it actually requires a monitoring system that can help us understand the device strategy, that where exactly is the device stuck, what exactly is happening, is the profile being pushed or not, is the specific device ID that I've been searching for, where will I find it? If I would like to remove this device from the console, how soon can I do that? If this particular device is no longer actually helping to the user who's actually leaving the organization, and we do not have to go through the hurdles and obstacles of removing it from the console permanently and assigning it to a new user, but just with simple steps we would be able to perform things. We'll be able to identify them all, And when we say yes, a remote device wipe will also be available. You're so right. We actually can do the remote device wipe. We also can retire the device, wherein the device will not lose the personal data of the users, but it would actually remove the corporate data of the organization so that the users will not lose their personal data for any sort of platform. Doesn't matter if they have their own Windows device and they might have enrolled it in the console, then they'll be able to remove it as and when required. And organization, just when they'll send their corporate device to the user and they would like to eliminate the other device that's going to be personal to the user, then also they can make use of remote wipe, as you said. And there are two types of wipe that's also available. One of them is device wipe, wherein the complete device would actually be wiped, and retire, wherein retire would just delete the corporate data and will keep the personal data of the user as he was using on the device before, so that it would not just be blank when he turns it on and won't feel that it's just a new device that he purchased. All right, moving forward, a few use cases of how exactly the remote access. Actually, there are multiple applications that's also being available for Workspace ONE users. I would say Workspace ONE Tunnel, one of the best features. Every data that's being, it's traveling just in a way that allows users to access it confidentially, and it also allows users to, access just not information, but also their organization daily security stuff, or I would say portals or access that has been allowed to users to the specific portal that the organization have created for the benefits of the users who are actually a part. And they actually tunnel actually specifies that whatever data, or I would say whatever info, it actually encrypts it all. So that means the traffic would be encrypted. Whatever data that the user is accessing is on an encrypted traffic, so that it provides more security to the users and the data that actually is being accessed by those users who are a part of the org. Now, it also benefits multiple users. When I say content gateway, there's also an option for proxy that you can set up, uh, virtual private network that you can make use of. That's VPN profile that you can push with every application. Let's suppose you're accessing Google Chrome, you want to push VPN profile so that the traffic would be encrypted. You just can push it on the specific application. The number of users who's going to download it or we're going to push it on will actually be able to use it, as the traffic would be encrypted for that particular application as well. So there's app per VPN and tunnel profile that's available. So the tunnel proxy functions differently than app per VPN. So every application requires a VPN profile that we're going to push to the device. So the VPN profile would also be pushed with the application that we're going to push to the user or the device that's actually available. Also, understanding the competencies of the products, it also helps understand how exactly the technology functions. How fast is it? How rapid is it? What kind of sprints that we can do to understand the technology growth, how exactly it'll gonna function, what changes can we add to the product, and how recent it is. So yeah, it has a lot to understand when we look into it. As I said, content gateway, setting up certificates, VPN profiles, app per VPN profile, also the understanding of that particular product when you enroll the device, what exactly do you see on the console about that specific device, the user whom the device will be assigned to, the functions that we are performing about that specific device, doing retire, doing wipe, doing multiple activities as if querying the device, querying the details of the device, that what exactly is the version number, what device, what exactly is the build number. So we'll be able to monitor the device closely, not just by understanding what the device complexity or the compatibility is, but also by understanding by the point of view of the user who is actually using the device. Is there anything that the user can experience in the coming future, so that we slowly and gradually upgrade or move them to a different version of UEM, so that the particular fix that's not available within this version can actually be available in the next one. How exactly the user is experiencing this management technology? Is he able to find everything that he or she wants? What exactly is happening while he accesses it online, or he goes to the personal stuff? There's also one feature of segregation of device as a work profile for Android devices that I was willing to share. That is segregating the personal and the corporate stuff, or I would say the work stuff, wherein the work applications would be segregated and the personal applications can actually be used by the user. So there'll be two separate space that the user will actually have on their phones when I say Android, so that they'll be able to make use of it as and when required. They can use the personal stuff when required. They can use the corporate stuff as and when they would like to. So accessing it makes them understand that yes, this is something that we should do right now, and they also can push some information. They also can read some information as and when the organization would like them to send a text message, or I would say a screen message that they would see. Yes, a notification can actually be sent on those devices in a form of message that you can display, or you actually can let users read. So yeah, there's a lot that we can actually do just when we actually go through the features. We understand that yes, this product is turning out to be worth it. And also about a little about the authentication part. As I said, Workspace One Access. So setting up Okta is one of the best, I would say, authentication methods that user would like to see and experience. And the organizations who have actually set them up are understanding them better just when they set it up, and allow users to make use of it or authenticate, so that the users do not have to enter their IDs and passwords again and again just to authenticate or authorize the access to the specific resource that they're already allowed to. So that's why we make use of authentication and I would say services that are actually available for the users, so that it would not be time consuming and it would allow the users to do their task in seconds than wasting hours on just the same thing. That's how it functions. And also considering about how exactly the time that they are spending on their devices accessing one application, how soon can they be authenticated and authorized to that specific application. Once they get in, they also would like to do things on their devices. They would like to multitask on the same device. When they access it, they would like to access it in a way that would allow them to just push a particular application. Okay, the moment they open that particular application, they would like to experience some sort of changes that yes, every time the application upgrades from the UEM console, they'll feel different. That yes, there's something else that has been upgraded. So that also I don't think will be a problem just when they will look into it, and just when they'll have the devices ready and the applications upgraded, they'll be able to make use of it just like they make use of the personal apps and the personal stuff that they will have a segregated space for in case of Androids and other devices as well. Enrolling macOS, enrolling iOS devices, pushing the profiles as and when required. You also can set up Wi-Fi profiles, if remember or if aware. So when we push such profiles on the devices, it actually does not require the authentication in the device. When comes out of box experience, they would actually be connected to the corporate network that you've set up, so that these profiles would actually authenticate automatically. And certificate authentication is what it will be called. And that's how exactly the users will be authorized to access those uh, resources of the organization, and would also allow the access to it. Yeah. Now also I would be talking about a little intelligence access, how exactly intelligence functions, how exactly the automation will take place. Just when we automate something, how we want the report to be shared. Let's suppose there are 1,000 users who are actually a part of Unified Access Gateway who are using the tunnel profile on their devices, and we would like to monitor the UAG closely, that what's happening on Unified Access Gateway. So we would like to fetch a report that we just can do through intelligence, wherein where the report would actually be automated and the users will have it after, not the users, but the administrators will have it as and when required. They actually can set it after every 6 hours. I would like to find the report for UAG. If there's any adherence, they can look into it. If it's working just fine, the reports tells it all, and yeah, many more. Also, the mobile access gateway. You also can set up. There's Workspace One Boxer application. The email services that are being provided by Workspace One are also, I would say, a thing, but a lot more than that. It actually helps us understand that yes, how exactly this particular thing will gonna function, how exactly will we be able to access the emails on VMware Workspace One Boxer application, and many more applications that are actually available. So yeah, telling more about how exactly this intelligence functions, as if we would like to automate the task and we want that task to happen after every 12 hours, as if we would like to, as I said, fetch the status of any, uh, I would say, appliance that we have set up. We actually can do that with the help of intelligence. And we also can set up reports that we fetch after every 12 hours that yes, this is the status of this specific appliance or feature that's available. If it's not good, what exactly is the problem? Where exactly is the problem? And where will we find it? And how exactly can we resolve it too? So when we understand that yes, this exactly is what the problem was caused by, we can actually eliminate it, or I would say we can actually work ahead and can look into it that yes, why is this happened so that we can stop it in future and can actually work towards it that yes, if this is happening or this feature is not functioning the way it was presented, then why is it so? Where will we actually be able to report it? VMware also has a portal to make sure that yes, the new features will be added by the recommendation of the customers who are already using the product, so that slowly and gradually we'll also be able to improve the same way the customers would also be able to experience it in a different, I would say, a different way that yes, there is something that's happening which is different than what it used to be. So yeah, upgradation is all we have. Now, I would also be demonstrating to let you know how exactly the Workspace on UEM console looks like. How does it function? A device that we'll actually have. I'm gonna share my screen. Just give me one sec. Right. All right. Here we are. So that's a test drive account of mine where I can look into the devices if I've enrolled any, or I can see the enrollment status, or if I am planning to enroll any device, where exactly will I find it. Life cycle is one of the places where, while the device is getting enrolled, we'll be able to see the status of that specific device by entering the, I would say, the device serial number. Just when we see that, yes, this is what the actual part is. Also, about the four different portals that I talked about: Workspace One Access, Intelligence, UEM, and Horizon. That's so. This is one of the device portal where would be able to see the compliance policies. Also about a little about compliance. When you actually set a compliance for the device, as if the password, we set up a condition that the password should be of 4 digits, cannot be of five. If we set it up of five, the device will turn non-compliant and it reports to the console that the device is non-compliant. And as and when the administrator can block the access, it provides a grace period of 30 days, or the grace period that's actually being set. After 30 days, it would actually be stopped, and the users will no longer be able to access the resources if they're not following the compliance of the device. List view of compliance if ever set up. Not yet. We just can see if we can set up the compliance and it's all in front. We can set one for iOS just as a demo. Let's suppose I would set it for the OS version. If the OS version is or between or greater than, these are just a few filters that we can make use of while we are setting it up. And we can add that rule that yes, this is what needs to be followed. If the version is not greater than or equal to or less than this, then this particular device should be turned non-compliant immediately or with a grace period. So what exactly is the action? Mark as non-compliant, notify the user, email the user, command the user, or you know, just let them know with any other way by sending a message, pushing a notification to the device, or an admin email as well to let the person know that yes, your device is going to turn non-compliant and will soon have will not be able to access the resources of the organization anymore if it stays so. Yep. Assignment groups that we can go ahead and create where we can set up a few options of how exactly the smart group needs to be created. So the criteria is also available, devices or users, how exactly we want to create it. So these are a few options that would actually be available for us that we can set up. We actually can enter the friendly device name of the device to fetch that specific device. Once we enable the preview of that specific device, we'll be able to view it here after we add it. Or the user who has actually enrolled the device, if we enter the username or the first name, we also can view the device that's under the ownership of that specific user who's a part of it. So yeah, this is how the assignment group or smart group functions. The native applications, web links that's going to function, we all can push it. We all can get to know that yes, these are actually the features that Workspace when UEM provides. You can add multiple applications, internal apps, public apps that are available publicly. You just can click on it. You just can search for it from Play Store. Where exactly would you find it? Just name it or enter the app URL so that you can find it. Or if I'll just type the name Google Chrome, it would help me fetch it. So yeah, if I click next and I wait for it, see, this is how I can just select it. I can add it and the application would just be available here. The software deployment kit, the terms of use, if I would like to set it, I can do that. The details of that particular contains the icon that I can upload of my choice as well. That's what I can do. It actually has a lot of control in the hands of admin, whosoever is going to set it up, that how exactly will it work and what are the supported models, the platform, the categories that we can select, and yeah, we can push it as and when required. Here's the app ID as well, so we can make use of it to push that application on the device. And purchase application, as always, it's actually available for, I would say, VPP, Volume Purchasing Program. This is actually available for Apple DEP devices, Device Enrollment Program devices, where an Apple Business Manager will also be in picture and will be integrated with Workspace ONE UEM, and we actually can add the VPP token so that we'll actually be able to distribute the applications on the devices that will get enrolled with ADE, that's automated device enrollment, also known as DEP. Accounts that we can fetch, and here is also content that I was talking about, that how exactly can we create repositories. We can see it all in the list view, admin repositories, user repositories, the template that we can make use of. They can both be automatic and manual. And I think I should on this intelligence, just a glimpse of intelligence that how exactly it looks. Okay, this is how it is. Intelligence portal gets started. So we can collect all this info just by the clicks and setting them up on the devices, where we understand that how exactly it's going to function, how exactly will it work. The admin panel, right now it's not enabled for me, but yeah, it gets enabled for customers who are going to add it. to their subscriptions, and they can opt in, they can make use of it. Intelligence offers of integrated insights. Application analytics is also one of the things. Automation is what's the best that I would say. Reports that we also can fetch as informed. We also can download, fetch a specific report related to content details by device, count of active devices, many more. I would say there are multiple reports that we just can look at and we can fetch as per the need of the organization. And as and when required, it will just be a case of seconds. Click on it, find it, and we just can look at it. Yeah. Also can look at the events of the devices, that what events have happened, date, time, friendly name, enrollment, username, that when exactly was it enrolled, and what username was used. There's one filter that's already set. Let's see what it is. Okay, date and time. If I'll clear it, I can clear it all. Filters would be zero. Yeah, so we can fetch the details. Also can see the console events though. That's also one of the features that's actually available. Syslog servers that we can set up to fetch the dump, to know how exactly is the is the particular feature is working, how exactly is it responding. So yeah, there's a lot. Let's see if we have access to Workspace ONE Access. Yeah, we do. So this is Workspace ONE Access. As said, considering this, it would actually be the access to multiple web applications, because the authentication comes in picture, wherein we would be able to see Okta authenticating all of them. How exactly will it be managed? Single sign-on feature, conditional access to applications, mobile flows, how exactly will it function? Web native and virtual applications. As I said, virtual application is one of the biggest achievement, wherein we would be able to see virtual apps, also available in Horizon Cloud, I would say. Certificates that we can enable, and moreover, the directory services that we also can set up if required. We can integrate them. Cloud connector. It's also a Watch Cloud connector that we make use of in terms of certificates if you wanted to see when exactly was it pushed. So all the tasks that is related to Cloud Connector would be related to the certificate part, related to other services that are actually available. So when we set up the ACC, the Watch Cloud Connector, it helps us and provides a lot of benefits, I would say. Yep. Enabling auto update is also one of the features that we can do for the seamless update, and a little more about how exactly will it function. You can just see and understand this. Yeah, I think quite a lot about device admin and access related info is being provided here. So yeah, that was all. Now I think it's your time to shoot your questions if you have any on mind, so that we can answer them. Yeah, you're right. One I can see, the one that I've already answered was about remote device wipe. The second is the report show? Yeah, the report is actually real time, wherein the status of the report would actually be fetched after we see that what exactly is happening on those specific the devices. If we fetch, taking an example of device application report, the number of applications that are running on that device would be notified that yes, this was the last application removed into us, this was being pushed into us. What exactly is the user intervention in that particular application while it's being used, and how exactly is it behaving once you access it, or yeah, that's how we're going to fetch the report for, and it has all the information to it that yes, this is how it's going to work. And yeah, many more. Okay, how secure is this tool? So exactly, UEM is not about security. It's actually about protecting devices in a way that the organization would feel secure. And honestly, it is secure, not just securing the devices, but making the administrators feel that yes, this is something that's of benefit, which is why most of them make use of it. Organizations like Starbucks, or I would say Eli Lilly, and many other organizations, even product based, are making use of this tool just to understand that how exactly will it function, and it actually protects the device, or I would say secures the information of the device in such a way that the outsiders will not be able to get access to it. So yeah, that's one of the features. Even VMware Carbon Black is also a part of security now, that has been introduced while ago. So that'll also be a part of this security now. That's about the bundle for UEM intelligence and access. A little about how exactly this management functions for all platforms, as I said. So yeah, this actually is a bundle of all the uh, tools that VMware provides. Also about Carbon Black, as I said, Enterprise Edition, Advanced. This actually is related to to stay ahead of attackers, blocking malwares from your devices so that it won't attack your organization, even if it's in plan to attack. You actually can get ahead of attackers. So yeah, there's CB analytics, there's other information that we can make use of, and there's many more. So these are a few deals. All right, I think that was all. And if you'll have more questions, you're always welcome. You can email us. You can get in contact whenever required to just understand that yes, if there's any info that you require about Workspace One that you might be interested in, you can get in contact. And as Nadia said, she'll also be sharing the recording of this session so that if any other information would be required, you just can get in contact with us. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining.